Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk to you about nostalgia and the narcissist. Because whenever you're doing well for yourself, okay, and you're starting to level up, you're leveling up. So let's say you level up a few times and then you think about something nostalgic. It doesn't have to be with the narcissist, it could be with anybody, but this is just for growth in general. But it does happen with a narcissist sometimes. You'll think about maybe a good time or something. Nostalgia is have this remnants that appears in your mind, and it makes you think of something good from the past, or you may see something that reminds you of something from the past, or it even could be a scent, something you see that's older. It could be something 20 years ago. But nevertheless, I think nostalgia is something to be aware and be careful of, because a lot of times things that are nostalgic, they could be used as a tool to bring you backwards into something that is kind of like a fantasy. You may have in your head remembered some thoughts or taken yourself back to a time. And that time may not have been that great, may not have been great at all. There may have been moments in time where there were good things happening or you enjoyed moments. But a lot of times, especially with the narcissist, it was probably false because they're always lying and cheating and faking. It's just something to be careful of, because nostalgia, usually what could take you back to that is sometimes you feel sorry for somebody. You can next feel like you need to take on maybe a burden of theirs. Does that make sense? First, you think of a good thought from the past that you may have had with someone. What comes next sometimes, then you think of them maybe currently or a time where they were struggling, and the next thing you know, you could start getting into this. It could be like a fantasy, is I guess what I'm saying. Nostalgia can become somewhat of something that will lead you into a fantasy of something that you may think you may miss or something, and or I guess my point is along the lines of it can get you back into feeling like you need to carry the weight of someone else's burden. And what I've learned is, you know how we always say you got to love yourself. And for the empath, it's kind of hard because we grew up being groomed to please others, take care of others, think of others and not ourselves, right? For the longest time. And just the idea of thinking about yourself first, just to us, has always been ingrained in some sort of fashion. That's a almost as if a narcissistic thought. Like loving yourself is almost some sort of arrogance. At least that's how I've always thought of it, and or it's something that I think I've toiled with, because I don't know, you feel like as an empath, you feel like you always want to help people. Like for instance, in hospitalization, it's kind of like if you can't keep your health up, how are you going to help somebody who's sick? And by the same token, it's very similar. It's exactly the same. If you're not spiritually, mentally, and physically healthy, then how are you going to be able to help others? And for you to be spiritually, mentally, and physically healthy is for you to love yourself first. And not to love yourself in the fashion the narcissist might, to where they're a pompous, arrogant idiot, and all they think about is themselves. And if you're an empath, you'll never take it that far, so you have really nothing to worry about. But you need to expand loving yourself much more than what you were taught or what you believed, coming from an empathic point of view. Because we have always kind of walked in humility, really. Empaths really walk in humility, and we always thought of everybody else first. How can we help others? Because inherently, the empath is kind of just thankful to be alive, really, because we always knew that somebody had it worse out there than us. And that's why the Lord blesses us, but he's not going to bless you until you get to a place to where you understand what you're dealing with. And that is the key to your success. It's understanding what a narcissist is and what you've been dealing with, what you've been plagued with, and what you need to step away from. You need to step outside of anything evil or contentious, anything with turmoil that doesn't serve you. anything with anger, greed, and jealousy, and anything with straight confusion and lies, manipulation, gaslighting, control, power and control, and bullying. Those types of things are what empaths are continually entangled in from birth, because we do start out as easy prey, unfortunately. And we were raised that way. We were raised that way to supply for a caregiver in some sort of fashion. And that's where it began. Well, it began at birth. At birth, you're either an empath or you're not. And in these types of families, it's not really taught to you. It's just your innate self. And when an empath doesn't look like that, it's because they're jaded, but they always come back to center at some point because they know what's right and they know what's wrong. Inherently, we're very well versed at this kind of stuff. We just don't give ourselves enough credit and enough love. And part of that love is to build boundaries, ironclad boundaries against these things that I just named. You need to love yourself. And part of loving yourself is for you to think of yourself and what you're doing and be focused on yourself. And that is really hard for me to do. But what I'm learning is the right thing to do. A lot of times, I think in the past, I would be wanting to do what I needed to do, but also thinking about the needs and how I need to help others or carry their burden as well. And at this stage of my life, what I've realized is if you have a time or a place where you start to have a little bit of nostalgia, that could be negative. So be careful, because it's almost like how the narcissist will take you into a fantasy and then control you. They'll break you down, control you through this false world that they've created and gave you a position in their fantasy to take care of them. Well, in nostalgic moments in time, it can come in when you're weak, and it can make you think of a certain person or something. And if that person's coming on hard times, right? Or you feel some feelings that you could help them, well, then it will start out with a nostalgic thought, but next it will turn into you almost carrying their load or allowing that kind of pressure and stress to burden you down again, weigh you down. And when you do that, you quench all of the growth in your life and expansion. All of the faith and hope that you have is now becoming quenched, and it's going to be burdened down by oppression, depression, anxiety, paranoia, whatever. You're going to be doubting yourself, and you're going to be carrying somebody else's load. And you may not even be talking to an individual, but it will still have an effect on you, because you can spiritually do it or do it from afar. And it could be not even true. They may not even be going through anything rough. They may not even be going through rough times. It could just be a first conscious thought of nostalgia, and the next thing you think, or you may have heard, or you may guess, or you may feel that somebody that you know that you had a nostalgic period of time with may be going through some things, and you may place that allowed burden of feeling guilty or something about somebody. But at the end of the day, what you got to realize is you're here to take care of yourself and just regulate just you. You see, you're just here to regulate you. And that's why a lot of times empaths are so tired all the time, or they allow themselves to be fatigued more than anybody else, because you're taking on burdens of other people's stressors and other people's regulation of emotions. And it doesn't even they don't even have to be in your presence. They could be several states away, or another country. Hell, they may not even be alive anymore, and you could still be like wondering what you could have done or should have done, but it's already been done, or it was going to happen the way it was going to happen anyway, if you believe in destiny. And you just have to focus on what you're doing, because all you can do, only power you have, is what you can do, what you can build, and what you can change within yourself. All change occurs within before ever occurs out here. So all changes occur from within. That's why the narcissist doesn't make any change, because they're always looking for other people to make the change for them. See, what they do is they get people to change for them. That's manipulation. And that's why they have flying monkeys and all these people around them that believe a facade, a fake life of the fake mask that they have placed upon themselves. But when you're real and true, you see everything for its reality of what it is. And you go inside and introspect. And you accept what is yours, and what is not yours, you let it go. And you have to walk around and affect change from the inside of you out. And it should only be you. Even if you're in a love partner relationship, let's say your significant other, if they're going through stuff, you can only help them in certain ways. You have to be very careful about, but you should be able to, it should be a natural thing because you want to be with a healthy individual. But you have to limit yourself on how much you can help somebody, even if you're seeing them every day and you're living with them and loving on them. You have to just do what you're supposed to do. You can support them if it's good. If it's not good, you can't support it. You got to let that be known because that's one of your boundaries. You're not going to corrupt yourself for somebody else. But that's why you want to be very careful before you get into a love partner relationship with somebody to let it be known or find out, be aware of their character, because you want to know their character before you get into a covenant of marriage with them, for instance. Because once you get into a covenant of marriage, you're bound by many things. You're bound by covenants of finances and children and paperwork through the courts. And whatever debt they accrue, you accrue too, because you're connected to it. And if they don't want to pay the debt, you'll have to pay the whole thing to get rid of it. Or you have to claim bankruptcy along with them because they are not agreeing to the same terms as you and you don't want to pay it all. Also, if their character is not good and you go in a covenant with them, you're connected to them spiritually, physically, mentally, and even in a physical way because you're going to have intercourse with them. So it's like you're going to be totally intertwined. So whatever their baseline vibration is going to be your baseline vibration. That's why you can't heal in the presence of a narcissist if you're trying to heal from narcissism. You can't heal in an environment that is a narcissism environment. I mean, I don't know what else to say. If it's totally a corrupted environment, a narcissist is going to play on you all day long, subliminally, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, physically. And they're going to also, if they're cheating on you, they're going to be passing all kind of wrong kind of fluids, so to speak. So you want to be careful of all that, because if you don't have physical health, then you don't have anything. Everything else is going to be null and void, right? So nostalgia, it's real important. I just wanted to throw that at you. And I hope y'all have a great day. Love y'all. Till next time.